In an effort to bridge the communication barrier between hearing and deaf people, some deaf students have created an app that helps teach and interpret sign language. Some of the features on the app include learning to sign, communicating with a deaf person using an interpreter, and finding a sign language interpreter. For more on this, I'm joined now by the founder of Mdluli and Future Coding, Wonder Ndlovu. Wonder, good evening and thank you very much for your time tonight. Now, for the past 14 months, you've been working on some upgrades to an already fantastic project that you've been working on, or innovation, one would say. It's called REAH, or Hear when you read it backwards. Who came up with this and why?
Thanks, Thabo, for having me tonight, and good evening to your viewers. Thabo, just to give you a brief background, in 2017, after having some thoughts, after I spent 17 years in the ICT space, I asked myself, have I ever came across with a deaf person in an IT server room or in an IT development team? The answer was no. Then I found it, I took it as my responsibility to ensure that deaf people are part of the ICT space. So in the past 3 years, we have trained 64 deaf youth. So back to your question, what motivated us to come up with this idea was we noticed that it's difficult when a deaf person is trying to communicate with who people we call as hearing people. They find it difficult to communicate with speaking people. So this application, what it does, it helps deaf people to communicate with the speaking people through a digital live sign language interpreter.
So this is a work that was produced by the students themselves after they've gone through your course?
That's correct. So last year we launched the first version of the REAH app, which focuses on 4 features: learn to sign, find an interpreter, and it also has a feature for deaf kids that are born to speaking parents so that they can learn sign language. But what we have done in the past 14 months, we then work on improving and ensuring that through this platform, accessing sign language interpreters is easy. Just if you can imagine, in the past 6 months, we have been hit by COVID-19, which is making it difficult for sign language interpreters to provide the services so that deaf people can access services. And then secondly, we are in September, which is the Deaf Awareness Month. So it is a call upon all of us as South Africans to ensure that we provide accessible opportunities for deaf people. And then lastly, early this week, we were celebrating the International Day of Sign Languages. So if you put all this together, including the charter that was launched by the government this month, that private sector and government are compelled to provide sign language interpretation services for deaf people so they can access opportunities like hearing people. So this application, it does exactly that. So we have made an improvement from the first version that we developed with the deaf youth, but this time around we have added what we call a wearable technology. If I can just give you a simple scenario.
Yes.
If a deaf person visits the police station and is trying to engage with the captain doesn't know sign language. So with the technology that we have developed now, a police captain will then access our wearable technology and put it on as a glass. And when the deaf person is signing through our technology, the police captain will then hear the voices that are being signed by a deaf person. And what makes this platform different from the rest of what you have in the market, it is a 3-way communication. A deaf person will sign, and our wearable technology will convert that into a voice. And when a police captain is talking back to a deaf person, our technology will then convert the voice into a robot that will then display the signing of the police captain. So by doing so, we will be heading to the call of the government that we should ensure that sign language interpreting service, it is provided to deaf people so that they can access all the services that are available to South Africans.
Well, wonder, it's a wonder. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm going, how does it do that? I mean, how long does it take to put together an app of that nature? I mean, that is like AI at a really high level.
Basically, I didn't want to use those big terminologies. I just want to keep it simple. You are right, Thabo. It is an artificial intelligence solution. So basically, I will then expect that Newzroom Afrika will grace our event next week, Tuesday at 10 o'clock, where we'll be unveiling the wearable technology that could be used by the sign language interpreters. So right now, I cannot unveil it, but I can just show you what is inside here. What is inside here, it is the artificial intelligence technology that will make it easy for sign language interpreters to able to provide interpretation services without being on site. I mean, as we're talking now, Thabo, a deaf person would have loved to be part of this conversation,
yeah.
but because of the communication barrier. So that's the reason now we are solving this problem. Each and every hospital, police station, a bank should have this wearable glass to ensure that when they engage with a deaf person, it is easy for a deaf person to access the equal services that are accessed by us speaking people.
Now, there's added value, of course, that you have put in with this, because there are words that are not yet in the lexicon, even the dictionary of sign language, words like in IT, like download and so on, and you've added these, and it's able to pick that up.
We have added that, so we work with a team of sign language interpreters that are experts within the country. We are grateful to partner with those people that are helping us. So I'll give you a simple example. IT, right? So it's easy, you can spell it IT. But artificial intelligence, probably you will need to spell it, right? So you spell artificial, then you put a space, and then you add intelligence. But now for deaf people, so that they can able to fast track the communication, they will need to have a sign for that. And then this is where this kind of platform come into play to assist in terms of developing also the new sign languages. We are not working alone. We are a new kid on the block. We are a tech startup. We appreciate the work that has been done by those came before us, but we are a tech startup that is here to uncover digital connected world and bring it to life. And that's what we'll be doing next week, Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Now, in the meantime, to those who are unable to access this technology, which you're launching next month, next week, there is, of course, the translation service that is already available. So explain to me how that works for somebody like me who would want to access that.
So what I will ask you, Thabo, to do after this interview, or once you are done with your work, is to go to the Android store and download the REAH app. So what it does, so let's say you are at a bus stop, and then next to you is a deaf person, and you want to start a conversation, but it's difficult for you to learn that sign language. We do have a service that is available for free for 5 minutes. So meaning you will connect to our platform, and a sign language interpreter will be available for you live on a video, for you to able to start the conversation. So it's only for 5 minutes for free. Thereafter, if you want to continue the conversation, I mean, just like any platform, it needs to be supported with paid data, and then also the platform that we are hosting. And then you will then subscribe and sign up for an interpreter to continue providing the interpretation service for you. So this platform is not only for bridging the communication barrier. Imagine during the COVID-19, sign language interpreters were sitting at home, so meaning they can't access work opportunities. But with this platform, while they are sitting at home, they will be available to provide interpretation services. So you don't need to worry, Thabo. It's either you can learn it by searching that word, or you can connect to our feature and access a 5-minute service for free.
Now, of course, we're launching this fantastic technology, but you've also not left the children behind. So the children version is available, and how does it work for the kids?
So the children version is very exciting. So actually, sometimes when I'm bored, I then open the REAH for kids. So what it does, it teaches deaf kids to learn sign language, but it makes it more of a fun. So just like your word puzzle that you play on your magazine, so it also allows the deaf kids to complete the word puzzle, but instead of having the alphabet that are written in English, then you have the alphabet in sign language like A, B, C, D. And then you can start to put together those alphabets and form the word. And that way, it becomes like what we call in technology or in business world, gamification. Because once it becomes a game, you get addicted to it. You want to learn more words and start to build your own words as a child.